on internet land. How's everybody doing? What's going on? How's your Friday?
It's Friday.
We are here this week with another packed house. In the show last week, we had Alan Busby on the show, and this week we have yet another guest. Jams, welcome to
Hello.
the podcast.
Hello.
Yeah, there
Hello.
you go.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. You guys know me. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson as well.
Yep. It's still here.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to be.
Indeed. Well, hopefully you don't. I'd be sad. Be like, oh, Melissa left us.
Right. You know, you need to know about what the movie I watched this week, what bagel I ate.
I sure
That's
do.
it. That's all I get up to.
Speaking of bagels, I saw I guess it was like a Twitter post or something of someone screenshotted this thing and like sent it on a text and was like, hey, I'm in this Facebook group called I'm Really High and these are recipes, and someone just posted this and it was just a plain bagel and that was it.
Wow.
And they were
love to
like,
see it.
they were
Maybe
just
it was
like,
an everything bagel and they removed the everything and that's what the recipe is.
it was just this bagel, and then someone commented like, "Damn, that looks fire. Send me the recipe." And then they sent the screenshot, and it just said bagel.
Bagel. Go to the store, buy bagel.
Yeah,
You're done.
it's a
You're
great
chef.
recipe. Good stuff indeed. Well, Jams, welcome back to the Whatnauts.
Yeah.
You have been on a number of our shows. You have not been on the Captain's Log. Yeah, this is your first time on the Captain's Log.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to be back.
Indeed.
Oh yeah,
think-
Mel, nice little thing. I have one.
There
Right.
you
Yeah.
go.
I'm like, I got to turn my magic light on because we both have magic lights.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. On air, Jams.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, so I think last show you were on Crossplay
Yes.
with us. That I feel like that was almost a year ago, or like we were mentioning before we started recording. It feels like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago because it was the first thing I recorded when I moved to where I am now, and this is the last recording I'm doing here. So.
Oh wow.
Wow. Bookending it with Kyle.
Yeah.
I feel so special now. So are you moving out then to get your own place, or what's new with you?
I'm actually moving in with the most number of people I've ever lived with. I'll be moving in with 5 other people, 3 dogs, and like 4 cats.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a zoo.
That's too many.
and it's all very queer, very gay. In part one of the
Good,
gayest
good.
neighborhoods in St. Louis.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So I'm very excited.
Good
Cool.
stuff. Yeah, and then we had you on the review show at least once. You were there for
Twice.
twice, yeah, because we did Valerian and the City of a Thousand
Yes.
Planets, and then I'm blanking on the second one.
Metropolis.
Yeah,
Metropolis, that's right. That was a good one.
you recommended Metropolis and incurred my appearance because you can't talk about that movie without me.
He's like, I have been summoned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a movie strong enough to summon more than one Wilkinson to the recording. Yeah.
it is.
Stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you here on the show to get to hang out with us and chat with us and find out more of what you've been up to and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Sam just got here in the chat.
Sam here.
Thank you, Sam, for letting me know Melissa's voice is doubled. I know exactly what the problem is, and I'm going
whoops.
to do
Mel,
that.
what have
Now
you
it
done?
should be fixed.
I got it. I was cloned, but only vocally.
Yes.
The
Yes,
worst.
It's that weird thing with NDI that every time you pull in a new NDI source, it gets everyone's audio, not just that one person you want. So it's dumb. But yeah, we're here having fun. Got things fixed now. So there you go. Melissa,
Yes.
how's your week been?
It's been good. I feel like I haven't done it. I just work. I eat bagels, and I've been obsessively
Damn, send me
watching
that
*Halt and
recipe.
Catch Fire*, which I can't talk about for another 9 days.
Ah, man. Yeah, I haven't started it yet,
Ooh.
but I had a busy week this week, and so I finished The Queen's Gambit, which we're talking about
Yeah.
on Sunday. I finished that on like Tuesday.
Okay.
So I've just been like sitting on that, just like I want to talk about it.
Right?
So now you're a master chess man, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Kyle, name one
Exactly.
piece.
Yeah, you know what? I should probably stick to checkers. Let's be honest.
My favorite piece on the checkerboard is the checker. So many moves.
So versatile. No, all right. So let me ask you guys this: Have you guys been to Cracker Barrel? I'm assuming
Yes.
you
Yes.
have. Yeah. So you know how they
Yeah.
have the big, like checker boards things that you can
Yeah.
play there, right? Do you guys ever play where if a checker is on the like side that it can do that butterfly move where you can like act it like instead of only because you can only go diagonally, right? Is the thing in see, I don't even know how to
Yes.
play
See,
checkers.
I have no idea anymore how to play checkers. Like, none at all. I know you put two on top of each other, and that's called a king.
Yeah,
That's the end of anything I remember about checkers.
and that's only when you get to the opposite side, and then you can go
Yeah.
back.
When you get a
like,
goal,
again.
you get to
But-
wear a hat that is another man, and you're the king.
right,
And when you
yeah.
come back, you get another hat and you become a demiurge.
I see. I imagine it more so as the like two kids in one trench
Oh, yeah.
coat of like I'm a chess piece now,
One ticket to your R-rated movie, please.
right? Yeah, but no, I think it was checkers. Maybe it was chess, but I know that there was some people that played with this like butterfly move where if you're on the edge of the board, you would go to like one square off diagonally and then like one square. So it basically be like you move two spaces forward, if that makes sense.
Interesting. That would probably make it a faster game, but I don't think I've ever played it that way.
I don't know. I mean, it legitimately has been more than a decade. It's been like 2 decades since
Yeah,
I've played
yeah.
checkers.
Right. I don't remember checkers. I barely remember chess. I think the only game I know how to play is Monopoly and Life.
Those are like
Okay.
checkers.
Yeah. You know how you send your checker to college and then they have to pay off student loan debts, but they might win a beauty contest for prettiest checker?
My checker is a doctor.
My checker's going to buy an A-frame cabin.
Oh God. Yeah,
Oh, my
honestly,
checker landed on income tax.
Oh,
I'm-
no.
I'm not much of a board game player, so I think that falls in
Kyle.
with checkers and stuff like that. I think the last last board game I played was actually like 2 weeks ago. I don't know the name of it, but it had a board,
All right,
Halfway
good
there.
start.
and on the board was a bunch of different squares with pictures of playing cards on them, and you had to draw 6 cards. It was like there was enough playing cards there for like 2, maybe 3 decks of stuff. and you had 6 cards, and then you put a token down on where you wanted to like place your card, and then that would go to the discard pile, and it was basically like Connect 4, where you had to
What?
do like, yeah. Does that make sense? Like it's
No.
all right. So, all right. Think of a checkerboard, right? Just a bunch of squares, but instead of it being black and white, each square has a picture of a playing card. So, like 2 of diamonds, or ace of spades, or stuff like that. And you would draw 6 cards, and then you had these like chips that you would place down on the board if you had one of those cards, and you would just take turns. So being like, okay, I have the 3 of spades, and so you would put a chip down on one of the squares that had a 3 of spades. There were multiples though of that stuff. So after I discard that one card and put my chip down, I get another card, right? And then it keeps going, and you have to put more pieces down, and you have to connect 5 of them.
I can't remotely begin to picture this, but I trust you.
Yeah, same.
Well, thank you.
It's Kyle. It sounds like you played a board game.
I sure did.
Wow. If you could smash up 2 board games together, 2 games of any kind, and play like Poker, The Gathering, what would they be?
You could probably play Poker the Gathering pretty easily.
I don't know how to play poker, and I barely know how to play Magic the Gathering, but I need to do this.
Man.
It's just like poker with lands.
Land poker.
Yeah.
I think
If you want to play spades, you got to draw water.
I think I would do something like Risk and some kind of like dice, like Yahtzee mixed in there. So it's like let's just take the like dice rolling stuff that you do in Risk and like amplify that with something else. So
Yeah.
you have to get what's the ultimate dice game besides Yahtzee?
I was going to say Yahtzee.
I don't know.
I saw I saw a joke on Tumblr 8 years ago that was you set up a Jenga tower, but you're also playing Clue, and you put the Professor Plum card on the top of the Jenga tower, and every time somebody makes a wrong accusation, you remove a brick from the Jenga tower, and you have to solve the mystery before Professor Plum plummets to his death, and the game is called Sherlock.
Interesting. I actually kind of like that. Sam in the chat mentions Pokemon trading card game. How fun would that be if you mix that with like Risk, but all of your pieces are Pokemon.
Yeah.
They must have done
Cards.
Pokemon Risk at some point.
Right, you're just trying to take over Cinnabar Island.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I'm camped out at Johto and stuff like that, and you have to go to all the different regions. Oh, Pokemon trading card game is what Sam said. She corrected me. She was like, Kyle, it says Pokemon.
I like that. I like laying down a hand of poker, and it's like 4 Clefairies. And I don't know what I win. It's like
four in a
all these
row.
Clefairies I got.
Royal Fluff. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good
I think
stuff.
I would
Yeah.
combine. There's this game called Rhino Hero that
Never heard of that.
It's one of my favorite games. It's an all ages game, and you just stack cards up, and every now and then you have to take this little wooden rhino hero, like little rhino superhero, and move him up, and you just kind of go as high as you can until it collapses on your turn.
Wow.
And I would probably combine that with
kind of reminds me of Mouse Trap. You remember that game?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
it being a bunch of zany action in a crazy contraption where the fun was catching.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
Mousetrap.
Yeah, exactly.
I might combine that with like a Star Realms or a DC deck builder game or something.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Or like an MCU deck builder game where it's Rhino Hero. It's the Rhino.
It's Rhino. Ooh,
It's Rhino.
A game about Rhino. How good for
Right.
him.
Rhino's Day.
Did you guys ever used to make up card games or board games?
I mean, when I worked at like a board game store, kinda, but oftentimes we'd be like, man, wouldn't it be cool if there was a game like this? And then we'd write those down, and then people will one day make those.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
feel like
as they
I
just sit
attempted to
there.
make games as a very small child, but I know that I did it, but I don't remember any of them anymore.
I remember dabbling with it with a friend of mine, and then I don't remember what it was like or how it played or stuff like that. But there was one idea we had that we were like, actually, this is seriously a good idea. Let's start doing that. And so we just got our old like extra Pokemon cards and would like tape pieces of paper to them to like draw our own stuff on. And we like had this elaborate thing, and we started like playing it and teaching it to people and stuff like that. And then it lasted for like a month. And then that was it. But I have this like fond memory of that, of like, I made this game once and I remember really liking it. I have no idea what it was though.
We should make a game.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be fun
Kickstarter.
indeed.
They are the Whatnauts virtual experience.
Where Kyle just sits there and troubleshoot stuff on OBS for 15 minutes. Ah, man. Jams, let's go back
Yes,
with you.
hello.
What have you been up to this past week? How's your week been?
Not too bad. Most eventful things for me, I beat a game I've been playing for a while, and I bought some new makeup.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Good stuff.
I've been playing this new game called If Found.
Oh yeah.
It's a coming of age story about being trans in the 90s in Ireland, and also there's a black hole.
Oh.
Interesting.
And it's just this cute little short story game.
Oh.
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it just came out last year. It's by this fantastic studio or like production company called Annapurna that only puts out the best stuff.
They're wonderful. I'm waiting on 12 minutes. That one, I'm like, that looks so good. I want it now. Please don't delay that game anymore.
Yeah,
game
it
looks
looks
so
like it's
good.
gonna be great.
There you go. Beat that game and you bought some new makeup.
Yeah. Tell us what kind of makeup you got.
So I got Lemonhead glitter, like glitter concentrate, like it's a paste.
Oh.
This is the same makeup glitter that they used on the TV show Euphoria, I believe.
Oh, wow. Cool.
But yeah, I don't know if you can really pick it up on the cameras, but it's only like luminescent when you see it when the light hits it.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of hollow.
Yeah, it's like a hollow blue,
Ooh.
Interesting.
like rainbow glitter.
Nice.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not very confident in my makeup game yet, but man, if I have glitter on too, that'll just make up for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can do a lot with some glitter.
Yeah.
I personally have had terrible experiences with glitter, but that is a whole like camp story. They put glitter in our sleeping bags and stuff, and you just as a young child, that was traumatizing. Where it's like, I can't get it off. It's here. It's been here for a whole month. I don't know where it keeps coming from. But yeah, so
Glitter will haunt you.
it sure will.
I saw
Good
a
or
TikTok
bad.
of a girl It's like, nope, keying your ex-boyfriend's car is over, and it's just her
Glitter them.
taking jars of glitter and just dumping them in his apartments. Just like over his bed, over his like game
evil.
system, just like get glittered.
Oh man.
That is evil. Sam in the chat says, I also beat a game.
What'd you beat, Sam?
What game did you beat this week? Oh, was it Final Fantasy VII? And I know you've been playing
Did
that
you do it?
on
Did you do
stream.
it?
Did you do the thing?
Final Fantasy? Did you do it?
Did you finally have your fantasy? Yep, Final Fantasy VII. There we go.
Way to go, Sam.
Nice.
Sam got me some nail polishes for Christmas, and I got a very cool multi-chrome one that's mostly purple, but depending on the light, it's like 5 different colors.
I was
I
going to
love
say, like,
those.
what is
It's like I got
multi-chrome?
5 nail polishes.
If you put it on, does Voltron form? You have all
only.
5 of them?
If I can be under the right light where I get all 5 colors on one nail, yeah, then my hand becomes a lion robot.
Yep. Just that hand.
With
very
me
inconvenient.
sticking out of the rest of it.
Oh God! It's like Steven Universe where he has the cat hanger.
Yeah.
Or like I was watching a video about WandaVision today, and they pulled this panel from one of the old comics that is like Mephisto puppeting like the these fake children that she believes she has, and the panel of the comic is Mephisto, and each of his arms becomes a baby. Like instead of a hand, he just has one of the twins, and it's wild looking. And I hope this happens. Like, as much as I want her to have real babies, I want to see a devil with a baby for each hand.
Mephisto just be like that sometimes.
Where he just got 2 babies for hands, and that's why he's mad. That's
why
his
he's
funny.
backstory. He wasn't
why he's
like wronged
cranky.
by Tony Stark or something. He was just born with 2 babies for hands.
We'll get back to WandaVision in a bit here, but I know one of you, I think it was Melissa, you wrote down makeup in all caps on our list. I think we have some more makeup talk.
Oh, was that what you got this week, Jams? Did you get a singular makeup?
Yeah, I just got the glitters. I got, along with this blue one, I got a rainbow one.
Ooh.
But I have like a lot of makeup.
Good.
At least a lot for like a beginner.
Yeah.
And I think I've worn makeup 3 times. So I'm still
Right, yeah.
I'm still working my way up. I would like to go to work every day and wear like makeup and have like something going on.
Yeah.
But it's not part of my routine yet. And
Yeah.
it's not good enough yet to get it part of my routine.
Yeah.
But that is something I aspire to.
That's good. Yeah, the something I've been working on here in quarantine when I don't go anywhere, and I haven't done it in a while, is that I decided I was finally going to get good at winged eyeliner.
Ooh, how's that going?
I became much better. I didn't do it today. I didn't have time to, but maybe later this week I'll go for it again. I want to keep practicing. Yeah. I want to get better at it and better at doing it efficiently.
Yeah.
Last night I watched Eyes Wide Shut. And
okay.
Finally.
Legitimately finally. Like this
is
a movie I've been curious about like since it came out in 1999. I was a child and I knew it was not a child's film, but I told myself like when I'm an adult I'm going to watch that movie. And finally here at age 30 I've done it. But so Tom Cruise, he's just wandering around New York City all night. And like he goes to this little jazz club and he sees an old friend play. And his old friend, he plays piano for, the wild masked orgy that we all know is part of the movie Eyes Wide Shut. That's what it is infamous for. And his friend's like telling him about this place. And so it's like 2 a.m. and Tom Cruise like decides, I'm going to go there. And his friend's like, well, they won't let you in dressed like that. And Tom Cruise is wearing a nice suit. He's like, no, everybody's in costume. They all have masks. So Tom Cruise has to go like knock on this guy's door like, hey, you own that costume shop? I will pay you $200 above the costume fee to rent a tux and a cloak and a mask from you right now. And then, this movie is mostly about Tom Cruise spending an inordinate amount of money in like a 12-hour period. Because then it costs him like $200 to like taxi up there and back. He gets up to so many antics. But then this instilled in me this fear of what if I am suddenly called upon to go to a very fancy event? How fast can I make myself ready?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you timed yourself yet to be like, how fast can I do my makeup?
Maybe tomorrow. Because it is that is a task that I'll do where I will completely like lose track of time. Like I can't tell you how long it takes me to do makeup. It's not an area where time exists. It's me in the mirror and no other elements.
You start and then you're done when you're done.
Exactly. But like I want to time myself so that I can plan out like, do I have time to get ready before I go to a weird masked ball? Not that, but like whatever thing I might be getting up to.
They do speed runs here on Twitch for video games. I wonder, and they do like makeup reviews and podcasts and stuff like we're doing. Like, what? There needs to be a makeup speed run category where it's just like,
I'm gonna ask my roommate about this.
A certain look, and
she's deep into makeup. She cannot do it fast, but I wonder like if she could do it fast if she wanted to.
It seems like just a recipe for destruction.
Well, not super fast. It's not like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer invents a makeup gun and he shoots it at Marge's face. Like, look, you just shoot it once and then your face is ready to go, Marge. And then she looks like a clown. It won't be like that, but it'll just be efficient.
I'm just saying speedrunning is a slippery slope. You want to get quicker and quicker and quicker until you've just done one swoop and you're like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
This is good enough.
Right.
This is an any % makeup challenge.
Speaking of makeup, well, all right. So first thing I will say on that is kudos to anyone who does eyeliner and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Putting sharp objects near your eyes is scary as fuck. I hate it.
Putting any objects.
Right. But then, so we watched Queen's Gambit this week for the review show, which we will be recording on Sunday. But there was a makeup style in there that really stood out to me because I don't think I had seen anything like it before. And there's this one scene where, without spoiling it, one of the characters is not doing so hot and is kind of drunk and all of that stuff. And they have like this eyeliner line underneath their eye, but it's not up against it. It's like below it, and there's like space in between.
Yeah.
And I was like, it took me out of the entire scene because I was just like, what did she do with her eyes? I don't understand this. What is that
style?
Yeah, like did people really do that back then? Do they do that now and I just don't know it?
Right. There's a world of styles out there for you to learn.
I'm sure, yeah.
People do whatever they want with makeup.
Yeah, indeed.
Remember that lightning bolt guy? He popularized lightning bolts.
Harry Potter? Do you mean Harry Potter?
It's David Bowie, who we all know and love. I just thought it was funny to reduce him to lightning bolt guy. Like that was the single thing he ever did in his career. Like he never made music. He never acted in Labyrinth. He was a man who painted a lightning bolt on his face once. Like that was the only reason
thought you meant Harry Potter, and I was like, Melissa, you know that's a Scar, right?
Yeah, Lightning Bolt Man can only be a few people. One of them's Harry Potter, and the other one's Shazam.
The Flash. The Power Rangers.
Right.
As a team.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The villain from Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase.
You mean the Cyberman?
Yeah.
What was his name? The Virus? The Virus.
The Virus. He was like a lightning bolt that was a man.
He was a digital man. He could be nothing but a lightning bolt. He didn't have a choice.
Right. I want Scooby-Doo to do a new cyber chase every 10 years and update the technology.
Yeah,
they kind of need to.
Right. I want there to be an entire episode that's just Shaggy gets lost in a VR experience. Like it's just him in the back of the van. He doesn't physically
just
go
making
anywhere.
A giant sandwich. He's like he's playing like So it's like surgeon simulator,
simulator.
but it's chef
I could see-
simulator, and he's just making this big old sandwich.
Yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be fun.
I could see Fred getting trapped in like, I got to keep fixing all these puzzles. Like he's just trapped in like a VR puzzle room, an escape room. He would
Split
never
up.
leave.
Oh wait, it's just me here.
It's me. I can't split up.
Daphne's like in
Speaking
charge of a guild.
Cartoons.
Okay.
You
Yes.
guys have a cartoon-focused podcast.
We do. This is all we do.
We do this.
So, Melissa, you've been mentioning it on the show the past,
Yep.
I guess, 2 or 3 months that you guys have been doing
Yeah, we
it. I'm not sure
premiered
exactly
on
how long.
Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So, Saturday Morning Obscurities. Tell me more about
Yes.
that.
This is a podcast that me and Mel do that premieres every other week, every other Saturday morning. And we talk about 3 episodes at a time. We talk about a cartoon that feels like something you've only you have ever experienced.
Okay.
Something so obscure that feels like if you tried to explain it to someone, they would look at you dumbfounded.
Right. We are your
we look
backup.
at we look at specifically those cartoons, go back, watch them,
Good
and
stuff.
kind of talk about them.
Interesting.
But yeah,
That's
this
good. So
by the time this
Go
I was gonna say, by the time this comes out, the latest episode should probably be a comparison episode between C Lab 2020 and C Lab 2021.
Amazing. I pitched that a few weeks ago
Yeah.
on the review show because I was like, it's now officially 2021.
Yeah.
We can now watch C Lab 2021, but it was not
Yes.
picked.
Because I did it already.
Yeah, she was like, actually, I already did that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how many do you guys have out so far?
I believe the latest episode will be episode 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think we have like
but in
6
terms of, like-
more recorded,
Yeah.
waiting to go.
Yeah, but in terms of like material, we have a list of about 150 cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
So-
so
Kyle-
many out there.
We got to have you on to talk about Street Sharks. It is
Yeah, your
decided.
name-
love to. I have all my Street
Your
Shark
name is
action
right next to Street
figures
Sharks.
behind me.
Right.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah, no, I have the Street Shark action figures. I have a DVD of all 40 episodes, and I have like 2 of the number 1 issues because they did like the original series, and then I
Oh.
think there was a series after that, and I think it was a second number 1. It's one of those cartoons that I genuinely love for how ridiculous the whole thing is. I don't think I really remember anything about that show.
That's okay.
But you have the DVD.
I do, but I've never actually sat down to watch it. I'm
Now you will.
This will look great on my shelf to be like, yep, I have the Street Sharks DVD.
That's I do have DVDs like that. Like I bought the complete series of Hey Arnold, and I don't think I've cracked into it once since I got it like 5 years ago. But I'm never getting
Yeah.
rid of it. It's the complete series of Hey Arnold. It's prestigious.
It is.
Classic. So, you guys mentioned that you have a few in the can that you've pre-recorded and stuff. What is what are some of the ones that you guys are most excited to get to down the road that you have not covered yet?
The next episode that I pitched is us talking about those music videos that would air between the shows on Cartoon Network.
Yes,
Okay.
Cartoon Network Groovies.
Yeah, they were called the Groovies, where like they'd edit
Interesting.
clips from like an old cartoon to be into a music video, and sometimes they were original animations. There's like a whole playlist of these on YouTube. I don't know if we'll do all of them because there's like 30 or something, but I really need to talk about circles.
I think I remember
I need to talk
that
about
one.
my best friend Plank.
Yeah.
Yo.
We're going to talk
so
about
I-
like
so
the
I-
Dexter raps.
I didn't remember it by the name The Groovies. Like, if you had mentioned that and been like, I don't know what that is, I must have missed that. But yeah, now that you mentioned like the names of these songs, I'm like, yes, I know these. I remember these. Oh my God.
And that's exactly the kind of emotion we want this podcast to evoke.
Kyle, we should have you on to talk only about Tom. We'll just get deep into the backstory of Tom.
From
Tom?
From Toonami.
From Toonami.
I was going to say, yeah, I was like, is this Tom from some other, from Tom and Jerry?
You know,
the one
from
who
Tom
went
and
to
Jerry.
the mayor. That one.
Yeah. Toonami would be an interesting one.
We're not talking about Toonami at large. I mean, we can, but I want to talk purely about Tom and the absolution for like 40 minutes.
That would be wonderful. That would be
I just added those to the list. There's just a thing that says Tom. We're going to have to remember what that means.
Tom.
The parentheses from, it's like, Tom. MySpace? Who knows? Jerry?
Where is he now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be interesting. I'm trying to think of another like obscure cartoon that not many people talk about anymore. One that I always mention is home movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because everyone loves Bob's Burgers and all of that stuff. And I'm like, hey, if you guys like him, he's in that show from like way back when.
We haven't done that, but we did do Science Court, which is like before home movies. Long ago.
Long ago.
That's a good one. Let's see, what else? You guys remember Stick Stickly?
Yes.
Of course we remember Stick Stickly. Who do you think we are? What do you take us for, Kyle?
We'll have a whole episode about Stick Stickly and Face.
Oh yeah, and Face.
Yeah, and Face Junior. They have Face lore.
Oh my God, Face Junior. Did he have like a Face family?
Yeah, because Face Junior was for Nick Junior.
Right. Yeah.
You couldn't just lump Nick Jr. with regular Face. It doesn't fit.
Right. Yeah. He's a more mature personality for the distinguished adult Nickelodeon consumer.
Yeah.
There's that, and then oh shit, I just forgot what I was about to say. Talking about Fate. Oh, it's not really a cartoon, but I've been to see a live version of Gullah Gullah Island.
Ooh.
Yes, live
Gullah
action,
Gullah?
live action kids stuff we are also going to do. And we're also branching into, it's like with C Lab 2021, some adult animation as well. So yeah, I would love to talk about Gullah Gullah Island.
Yeah, I remember watching that show, like that and Blue's Clues way back in the day, like the original. And yeah, it was just one of those things. My parents knew that I watched it and I kind of liked it. And is it funny enough, Melissa, you and I covered season 1 of Hannibal. For in last October, and Will Graham's house is in Wolf Trap, Virginia, which I only know because there's a big concert venue there, which is where I saw Gullah Gullah Island. So
wow,
that's
that
great.
And all those murders are in the same place.
Exactly. And I used to have I think I got it there. It was a Nickelodeon baseball. It was purple and orange, and it was signed by the cast, I think.
Wow.
That's rad.
Like in character, is it like the name of some actor, or does it say like Benya Pollywog on it?
I think it was actually only signed by Benya Pollywog.
Oh, that's the one you want. I honestly can't remember any other cast member's
right?
name. I know he had like not parents, but like there were adults. I don't know how old Benya Pollywog was. I don't know if he lived on his own, if he was like their pet, if like he had his own parents and he was just like their neighbor and would come over and play with the kids. I don't remember his relation to this family.
I think he was just like local, like a local animal that just lived there, and they were just like, "Oh, friend,
Animal.
hey, friend."
Like this, like a wild cat that wanders around your neighborhood, except
Right.
it's a pollywog.
Wouldn't
Oh,
you,
no,
wouldn't you
mind
know
him.
it?
That's just a local pollywog.
Wandering through, he comes up into our house and he sings songs with our children.
This is the very unique Gullah Gullah cryptid.
We have to like look up the obscure lore of like who is Binya, where did he come
Right.
from, what's his history, all of that stuff. Figure that
Absolutely.
out for
Man, I
one
love to
of
look
the
at him.
shows there.
He's so happy.
Yeah. Wild stuff. So you guys have done a number of stuff already on the show. What have been some of your favorite moments or stuff that you guys have recorded so far and put out? Because I saw you guys had one guest on the show so far, and I think you guys talked about the Ronald Mcdonald adventures
Yes.
or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, which was a series of VHS tapes that you could only buy at McDonald's if you already bought a Happy Meal. Then you could spend an additional $3 to take home a Klasky Supo animated short film about Ronald McDonald.
Yes.
That is a
Man.
really fun episode. We talked about it with Christina Woods. And we get into this fun bit at the end where we're talking about like who we would cast in a live action McDonald Land feature.
Yes.
And I brought up Doug Jones. And I mentioned that he was giving an interview on this podcast
Jones.
where he was asked, like, you've been so many different kind of creatures. What is your dream role? And he's like, honestly, I just want to be like the nice dad wearing a sweater in the Hallmark Channel Christmas romance movie. Like he just wants to be like the main lady's dad, drinking a cup of cocoa, encouraging her like, honey, follow your heart. If you want to marry that lumberjack, marry that lumberjack. I'm here for you. Like that's what he wants to do.
I think about Doug Jones' Christmas movie all the time.
Right. We started planning out what that movie would be and how it's like his daughter's going to marry a Krampus.
Because you have to have special effects in there,
Right.
even if
Like
he's not
everybody-
solved.
Fun.
Everybody's wearing special effects makeup but Doug Jones.
Yeah. He gets to take a break for a movie.
Right. We spend like
It's
10 or
reverse
15
Gullah Gullah Island. They're all pollywogs except for him.
Oops, all cryptids.
Yeah, we spent like 10 or 15 minutes trying to plan the ultimate Krampus Christmas romance movie in the middle of this
Yeah.
episode about McDonald Land.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I think about that a lot. That's a good one.
So before we get on to cryptids that you just mentioned, because we did have something written down about that, I have to mention this. This is ridiculous. I put this on the document last week and we never got to it. Every now and then I like to put just like a weird headline of like, what's some of the weird things that happened in the world this week? Apparently, Denmark has launched a children's show about a man with a giant penis. And
Not just giant, very, very long.
super long. It's like
Right.
a
Yeah.
garden hose.
But it like has a mind of its own and it gets into antics. Like I guess he'll be walking past a
It does.
bakery and the penis will be like, well, I want a muffin, and it'll try and
Just
drag his body
grab a
behind
muffin.
him.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
I
going
want
to
a
take
regular
it.
bagel.
I'm prehensile. I'm going to get it. You know, you'd better pay for that muffin before I drag you away, or else you've stolen that muffin, sir. I am your penis and I'm in charge.
Right, yeah. So let's see here if I can get a
do
good
feel like that
view
sometimes.
of this. So this is it. This is what it looks like. Denmark launches a children's show about a man with a giant penis. I know they have the like YouTube version of like, hey, here's the intro to the show. At least go watch that. because it is bananas. It is just the most ridiculous thing. I have nothing else to say beyond that. It's just dumb and stupid, and I can't believe this is a real thing.
What's really funny about it to me is that, like, I think the name of the show, or at least the name of the character, his name is John Dillermand, which I think does translate to, like, big penis or something in Danish. But it reminds me of the criminal John Dillinger. God. When he was kidnapped. No. When he was after he died, when he was and I forget how he died. I don't know if, like, the coppers got him or whatever. That part of it's not important. The important part is that he was this national famous outlaw. Everyone was always following what John Dillinger was up to.
Right, yeah.
And after he was dead, there was like a photo of him printed in a newspaper, and he's like, his body's there. It's under a sheet. And there's like something in the photo that makes it look like he just has this monster hog poking out of the sheet. Like there's just like a giant bulge. So there was this rumor going around America for decades, like John Dillinger is like a 13-inch penis, and he was a criminal. Why didn't we know this when he was alive?
Why do you know this?
I don't remember why I know this.
There's important things to know about famous history cases.
Maybe
and that's
this
one
is
of
from
them.
like an episode of The Dollop. I know I heard about this on a podcast somewhere. Yeah, and like people had to debunk it. Like, no, it's not possible. Like, look at the photo. It wasn't that. It was this. There was something else under the sheet. There was something behind the sheet. I forget what it was.
It was 12 inches.
We need a whole investigative journalism podcast all about which historical figure has the biggest penis.
Do you know what's a wild one I learned about recently? I learned this on an episode of How Did This Get Made? They talked about a movie, I forget what it was called, but Willem Dafoe is in it, and like he has to have the steamy scene with Madonna. Mm-hmm. And like part of the behind the scenes details on that movie is that apparently Willem Dafoe's penis is weirdly big, not just noticeably big, weirdly big. Weirdly. He's an odd looking fellow to begin with, so I don't know what that means.
Sam says Willem Dafoe has a confusingly large penis.
Right? Yes, Sam knows what I'm talking about.
Listen, he's just got a little Greek goblin.
Right. He's got his own lighthouse.
Yeah, his own lighthouse. There you go.
Oh no! What have I done?
Do you want to talk about
can of worms
now?
have I opened here on this podcast?
Let's talk about a nice, safe Bigfoot.
Let's move the big talk to another topic.
Well, you know what they say about big feet, huh?
Do you guys have favorite mysteries? We're talking strictly about cryptids. Any sort of mystery out there in the world.
Okay, I have an answer for both of these.
Okay.
Go for it.
Because I saw you had favorite cryptid, and my first thought was the Bubbleheads, which is like a St. Louis local thing.
I don't know this one.
I think I've told you about the Bubbleheads.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bubbleheads real quick.
Yeah.
The rumor about this family called the Bubbleheads that just are on like an unmarked road you can get to in like North St. Louis. That's just kind of like a family that has never been like seen in clear light, but has very large heads.
Yeah.
And our brother said that I think he once like got like a close call or something.
We need to ask him about this again because I don't remember how the story goes.
Yeah, it was a long time ago when he told us.
Yeah, it was, and I believe it's a family. They just have a hydrocephalic condition. They've got water on the brain, is how it's been phrased before. They just have big, swollen heads. They're otherwise normal people. You know, you're not wandering into a horror movie out there. They're just a bit odd looking.
Yeah, you're just on someone's property.
Yeah, and they just live a secluded life in a house in the woods. And it's not even that much in the woods. They're like 20 minutes away from a Target.
Yeah.
My favorite kind of cryptid.
That's what North St. Louis County is like, though. You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but like then you look at the map and you're like, right, Shop and Save's right over there.
I can see the QT. Yeah. But that's the local cryptid. My favorite mystery / cryptid, I think, is Rasputin.
Oh, that's a good
Rasputin's
one.
a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing stories about Rasputin. I love Anastasia. There's a great comic called Rasputin.
I heard that
But
was
I love
good.
the mystery about, like, he was killed 9 different ways, and he still survived, or something like that, or like it took drowning to kill him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I love Rasputin stories the most.
Interesting.
That's
okay.
good. That's solid. Is there a lot of mystery left to Rasputin? Like, are we still trying to figure out how the heck he did that?
I think there's still like rumors that he lived after that, and there's like some like photos and stuff like that. I'm like, this guy looks too much like Rasputin to be just a coincidence. Stuff like that.
We have
Those
all
are
the
my
like
favorite. Like, that's like,
vampires, right? Of like Keanu Reeves is actually this old
I
guy
love
from the
those.
like 1500s.
like, I don't really put stock into them, but like, out of all conspiracy theories, those
Sure,
are the
yeah.
ones I find the most fun because it's like the least troubling to anybody. Just like finding an old yearbook from the 1940s where somebody looks like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Do
So
you think vampires were the first people to make special effect makeup so that they look like they're actually aging, so they can skip town and then start their life new and young again?
So like Rick
Interesting.
Baker is a Renfield who got out and like brought their skills to the everyday commoners.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. I'd like to think so. Like vampire makeup artists, that is a reality show I would watch on Bravo. The next great
Yeah.
vampire makeup artist.
Yeah, definitely.
I think for me, the one I probably know the most about would maybe I guess you could say it's a cryptid, would be Slender Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I would say so.
because like that's the thing where it's like it's basically just a bunch of YouTube videos that like
Yeah.
grew into this like whole mythology and stuff.
Yeah.
But I got into Slender Man the same time that I discovered the Black Tapes podcast.
Yeah.
And that was like the very first thing that we talked about on the Whatnauts podcast way back in the day, were those two things. And I don't like scary stories. I don't like scary stuff. So it was a very strange time in my life where I was like, oh, let's just dive into like this scary Slender Man stuff. And that stuff is genuinely scary.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff, but yeah, it's just like this series of like fictional YouTube videos about this guy finding his friends like videotapes from like a college movie that they were trying to make that went terribly wrong, and I think his friend went missing or something like that, and so he's now watching all of these tapes and he's noticing this like figure in the background and stuff like that, and then it starts haunting him and all of that stuff. But that was that's a really scary one, but one that I really enjoy that I know nothing about. John Titor.
Yes, I love John
traveler.
Titor.
Who's John Titor? I don't know anything about that.
So he was a supposed time traveler.
Yes.
I think it was like early 2000s he started posting on the internet. And he started being like, yeah, I'm from the future, CERN this and CERN that, and this thing is gonna happen, and that thing is gonna happen. And
he's traveled back in time because he needs... I think this started in the late 90s.
he needed an
part of it was
IBM
like
5100.
Yes. Part of it was like a Y2K fear. Like he had to go back in time to the certain era to find a certain build of computer where the hardware did this, because that's what like humanity needed in the future. Like there was some very important function that ran off of this old computer.
Very specific programming language that only worked on that one thing. And yeah, so it was a real thing that happened, but I say real thing as in someone was posting under the name John Titor about that stuff. They have since debunked it, and they think they know who it is and stuff like that. But I was introduced to it through Steins Gate, which is one of my favorite animes. And that's the whole plot of Steins Gate. They just take that story and put that on there. And it's wonderful, and it's a great time travel show. And you guys know me; I love time travel stories. So,
is that the one that you have to watch Steins Gate before you watch Steins Gate Zero?
Correct. Yes, Steins Gate Zero is the sequel.
Okay, I always see Zero, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can start here. And then the thing in the back of my head is like, no, Zero doesn't mean 1. You have to go to 1.
Yeah,
this isn't a prequel. Yeah. I've already spent a lot of time on the Whatnauts network talking about Polybius.
Yes.
Another one of my favorite mysteries, every time I come across something about this, I always stop and watch it, read it, listen to it, is the Max Headroom Incident.
I don't know this. I know who Max Headroom is.
Kyle, you know who Max Headroom is?
I feel like you've mentioned it.
On the show a picture before? Of Max Headroom. He was it was this British TV series where this guy like presented music videos and stuff, and he was supposed to be the world's first virtual TV host. He wasn't. He was Matt Frewer wearing a lot of makeup and like kind of had some video editing tricks to him to make him seem like he was this glitchy virtual guy. So it's November 1987. And on some local TV channel in the Chicago area, there's a broadcast interruption during the news that evening where you just see briefly a clip of some guy like wearing a Max Headroom mask, because Max Headroom was a very popular character at this time. Like you could buy a Halloween mask of him. He was in the popular consciousness. He sold Coca-Cola in commercials. And he's got this background that's like even been rigged up to look like the lasers flashing around in the background of a Max Headroom episode. Like he like cuts into the broadcast for a couple seconds. I don't think there's sound on that one. And then it cuts back, like they were able to get the control back, the TV studio guys. And they're like, well, that was weird. Anyway, back to sports. And then later that night, he interrupts like an episode of Doctor Who that's airing on the PBS affiliate or whatever. And he's got sound this time, and he's got this whole like nonsensical speech where he's like making fun of people who work for that TV station, like, oh, fucking Chuck Swirsky over here. And he's like holding up a Pepsi can and he's like, catch the wave, which is Coke's slogan. Like he's making fun of Max Headroom. He's making fun of the TV broadcast itself. He like sings the Clutch Cargo theme song. Like it's this very nonsensical, manic, rambling thing. And then there's a cut and he's like, I think he waves a dildo at the screen at one point. And then there's a cut and he's like bending over. He's still got the mask on, but he's pulled his pants down. And then there's a woman just like hitting his butt with a fly swatter. Just like very disinterestedly. She's not into this. She's just like whack, 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 and then they were able to like, and then it stopped. I think they couldn't even get control back. I think it just stopped. They stopped broadcasting, and then everybody was like, who did this? What was it? And like they've never been able to find out who did that. Like there have been various candidates throughout the years, but they're like, at that time, in like 1987, the amount of resources and know-how that you would have to interrupt a broadcast signal that strong with something for that long, that had to be an inside job. And like you're making all these very specific references to like that WGN station staff. Like, is this like an old disgruntled employee? Who was this? Nobody knows. Like it's about 33 years later, nobody knows.
Yeah. That's wild.
I love it. There's also there's a similar one.
Pictures of him are creepy. He reminds me of the mask. Like Jim carries the mask.
Yeah, the actor who plays Max Headroom is great. I love seeing him in roles.
Right. I don't know what Matt Frewer's impression of this was. I don't know his findings. I don't know if he's tried to investigate.
Who knows?
I've got a Max to Max connection. I can understand the criminal. I can get inside his head. Only Max can find Max.
Do you remember in Tanis, in like the first episode or two, they talk about some like internet mystery about the like email thing? Do you remember exactly what that was?
Markovian parallax denigrate?
Yeah, that thing.
Yep.
That's like I don't know much about it, but when they mentioned that, I was just like, "What is this?" I like that.
I love web mysteries. Yeah, like Markovian parallax denigrate was in early like bulletin board posts. Like I think before we had like real forums or chat rooms or anything like that.
Sure,
just,
yeah.
like, bulletin boards. Somebody kept posting these like long, just mysterious like strings of words, and they're like, is this spam? Did a bot do this? Is this a code we're supposed to unravel? Who did it? Who was it? Yeah, and that's one of the mysteries that gets rolled up into Tanis along the way.
But then wasn't there something like it started emailing that code to members of just like random people and stuff like that or something?
There was, or like they found the email attached to that account. And there was this whole thing where like it was this, they thought it was this woman who like had like government ties and had something to do with a 9/11 conspiracy. And then it turned out, no, it's a separate woman who just happens to have that same name. These really aren't connected at all. It's a different Susan.
Come on, Susan.
You got the wrong Susan.
Oh, man.
Another one of my favorite broadcast interruption mysteries that this one doesn't have as much coverage. Maybe it's because it was in England in 1977. So it is geographically and time-wise much further away. But this was also like just a regular news broadcast. And this one wasn't a video interruption. It was just audio. They just blocked out the audio of normal news. Instead, this like creepy kind of robotic voice comes on saying, "This is Vrilon of the Ashtar Galactic Command. I am communicating to you on Earth, advising you to put down your weapons and become a society of peace." Like, it's benevolent.
Amazing.
But like this one I don't have any clues on. Like, I've tried to look up videos about this and I can't find as much. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody ever figured out who that was or why they were doing that or why it didn't happen again. Who was Vrilon? I want to know that one as much as I want to know about Max Headroom.
Well,
How hard is that to do?
I don't know.
Wasn't there something recently where like some government people were like, "Oh yeah, the World Federation of Aliens showed up last week and we've been in talks with them"?
There was something, I think, like in the late 2000s, maybe early 2010s, where there's just airing over like some local station in Montana that was playing an episode of Maury or something, like, "Are you the father?" At the bottom of the screen, you know, where they'll scroll like hazardous weather information. It's like, "The dead have started rising from their graves. Please stay inside. Do not attempt to approach the living dead."
Wow.
I love these. I love media-based mysteries. I've also been going deep on videos about theories on The Shining. Perhaps too deep.
Theories on the show.
Was it a movie? Who knows?
Maybe we all dreamed The Shining. And do we have proof that it happened? No, but you know, like, there's so many ways to interpret that movie. Like, I watched that whole Room 237 documentary where they're like, Jack is a Minotaur. This is all about, violence against the Native American peoples. This is about Kubrick insisting on bringing back the gold standard. It's about Kubrick confessing that he faked the moon landing. It's all in Wendy's head. Like, there's a dozen different wild, intense theories about what The Shining is actually supposed to mean.
That's interesting.
And my favorite thing about it, regardless of any theory you put on top of it, I love that building doesn't make sense. I go nuts about videos where they're just talking about how the Overlook Hotel is it is a logical impossibility. They're like, look at the angle of these walls. Look at the doors there. Those doors can't lead to anything. That wall is too thin. There can't be a room there. What does that door go to? Or like they go into this guy's office and he has a window and they're like, if you look at every other piece of footage from the building around it, there cannot be a window there. That wall just backs up against another wall. It doesn't go outside. There's not a courtyard there. There can't be a window. Or like how is there a bathroom here? Well, the bathroom's supposed to be on the other side of the hotel room in this other shot.
I
Why
feel
did
like
the maze
most of that
change?
stuff, it just has to be like movie making magic, right? It's like we needed a room with natural light, so we got the one with the window.
No, but that's what
that
all these
was it.
videos are. All these videos are talking about how painstakingly accurate Stanley Kubrick was. Like he would never allow a mistake like
sure,
this.
yeah.
Like there's a scene where Jack and Wendy are talking, and there's a chair in the background, and it's in the background behind Jack Nicholson. It cuts to Shelley Duvall. It cuts back, and the chair is gone. And people have spent like 40 years wondering what the deal is with the chair disappearing and reappearing. Because they're like, you wouldn't have allowed a mistake like this. This has to be on purpose. Why? Why did this happen? And I don't even know, like, have we built up the mystery, like the magnificent menace of Stanley Kubrick so much that we're like, the man never made a mistake? Are we sure?
I'm sure he did.
I wonder if him making a mistake would explain a lot of these, but also it's fun to theorize, what could a disappearing chair mean? How does that affect your cinema going experience?
Yeah.
Heavily.
Right.
It's fun to speculate on stuff like that. When you put favorite mystery / cryptid, one of the things that came to mind for me was just the whole Adnan Syed case.
Oh yeah,
that
the
Serial did. I'm not 100% sure what the most recent stuff on that case is, but that was one that podcast started the whole like true crime investigative journalism phase, as well as the like audio drama investigative journalism stuff. But like it's one of those mysteries where I don't think we're ever really gonna know exactly what happened, and it's baffling. It's like, how did all of this go wrong? How did all of this happen? What the hell? Makes
I don't even know
sense.
I don't even know what Serial really is. Isn't it just like, did he kill a girl or not? Is that it?
So Serial, the idea of Serial was like, hey, let's take the idea of This American Life, and instead of doing a story for one episode, let's do multiple on just this one thing. And the first thing they decided to talk about was this true crime, and Adnan Syed was convicted of killing his girlfriend, but just at the end of the day, whether you think he did it or someone else did or this, all that, just none of it made sense. What, like, him being convicted shouldn't have happened because everything was screwed up. Their timelines didn't make sense. The statements were changing. All of this stuff. There's so much stuff that's like, none of this should have happened. But at the end of the day, we still don't know who actually killed her. And so we're just stuck. And it's just like, fuck, man. Yeah.
It was Vrillon. He turned his back on peace.
I told you to put your weapons down, and you did not listen.
I don't go in as much for like the murder mysteries. I like this.
Yeah.
I like the weird stuff, like who was the Solway spaceman?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's because our mom watched a lot of those murder mystery stuff, or still does, that I'm just like, I don't really, I'm desensitized to this. I don't really, it just puts me to sleep, kind of.
Right. I think it does that to her. Well, anything will put mom to sleep, but she will like put on like Dateline, investigation, forensics, and then just conk out on the couch. And
I love it.
And she's not even one of those like really excited crime moms. You know, those crime moms who get like super into it. She'll sit there
Like
and
a
watch
soccer
it. She'll
mom,
be like,
but a crime mom.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some moms are just jazzed about murder. People of all kinds can get jazzed about murder. But our mom, she just sits there and she'll like watch like the man who might have killed his wife, and she's like, that's bad.
That's
and then
exactly
I'll ask her,
what
like,
it's
well,
like.
why don't you change the channel
Murder.
then? And she's like,
That's
what?
bad.
Murder, that's bad.
That's bad. That's bad, folks. Don't do it. It's a big no.
Speaking of mysteries, Jams, have you been watching WandaVision?
I have. I just finished watching episode 3 before we start recording.
Nice.
Yeah. Can we do a little bit of like theorizing? Like maybe as well, I was gonna say like as spoiler free as we can, but I don't know,
Sure.
man. Like
See, my theory is that Vision is a robot.
Ooh. So
Well.
like there's a lot of history to Scarlet Witch and Vision in the comics. Especially if you know that stuff going into like the Vision comic book, knowing his like sordid past with Scarlet Witch and like their kids and stuff like that. So whatever this show was going to be, it was going to be a lot. And so far it's holding up to that promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think the third one is going to be the hook that gets most
Yeah.
people. Of just like watching the first 2 is fine, but I don't think it's really gonna hook people. But once you watch that third one, it's like, okay, things have gotten wacky enough that it's like, what is going on here, right?
Yeah, it ramped up the suspicion a lot quicker than I thought they might have been doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
again, I think there's only 8 episodes this
Yeah, 8 or
season,
9.
so we're almost halfway done with season 1, I think. So they do kind of have to ramp things up pretty fast. But yeah, so I guess spoiler alert for the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. I guess, do I have the thing? Can I do the spoiler thing?
Can you?
I don't know if sound played on that, but there we go. Yeah, so I like the big reveal in episode 1 is Sword. That
Yes.
they are there and they're monitoring her. Which then makes me think like, okay, if Sword is there monitoring them, first of all, why? I think them being there implies there's some kind of alien or otherworldly threat.
Well,
Melissa,
Actually-
you're raising your hand.
I heard something interesting today in a new Rockstars breakdown video. Sword might not stand for sentient world observation and response.
That's what I'm
department.
wondering.
It might stand for sentient weapon observation and response department. And this is based on like a digital trading card and like a Marvel digital trading card app or something. I don't know. I think they've yet to like fully dig down on this. But like they're like, yeah, Wanda and Vision would count as sentient weapons. And maybe that's why they're being monitored so closely. It might not be as alien as it seems.
You have to keep in mind, Vision is dead
Yes.
right now.
He doesn't look it. He's pretty
he's
spry for a dead guy.
Right.
technically not even there. Yeah. But yeah, like, so I'm wondering if they're playing on people's expectations for that stuff, of just like what Sword stands for. But my theory so far is that Wanda is kind of doing this to herself, in
yes.
the like she's dealing with the death of Vision, and it's not going so well. And then there's some outside force that has like co-opted that and is like using that for their own purposes, and that's why Sword is there to be like, oh, we need to contain and de-escalate this thing. But that also could imply, like, if Sword is what they are in the comics of like, hey, we're shield but for space, then it could imply that they're also not on Earth.
Wonder how they got not on Earth.
Who knows?
They got a spaceship now.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
So at the end of Infinity War, half of everybody gets dusted, but Vision, he's killed before that. He's not part of the snap. Thanos rips the rock out of his head, and he like turns gray and he falls to the ground. What did they do with him? I don't think.
So it's interesting you bring this up. I assume that Scarlet Witch has it, and maybe that's what we're seeing walking around.
Right, because like Vision. I just realized that's not something we followed up with. Like, did any of the remaining Avengers be like, okay, buddy, we have to bury you? Like, we have to, what did they do with his
He's not going to decompose.
Right, yeah. Right,
Metal.
yeah. Did they just like put him in a box in a closet? Where has his physical being been since Infinity War? Where is it?
Which I'm
think?
thinking it might, if they are on Earth, I think they might be at the spot that he died, and she has
in Wakanda?
They might be just barely outside of Wakanda.
No, you see at the end of the episode where they shoot Monica outside of that bubble, and she lands in the grass. They pass by a sign for the town. It's outside of the bubble. So this is
that's
not
right, yeah.
Wanda has not imagined, or somebody is not implanting into her head the entire
Good
town.
point,
the town is pre-existing, and various forces, hers and others, have sort of taken over it. There's outside of that bubble they're in, there are buildings, there are houses with lights on, and there's little signs saying, welcome to
Greenview.
Yeah, the Westview, wherever it is they live. And, it's it sure seems American. I think things that they've mentioned within the bubble of WandaVision place it in Jersey. I think they mentioned that his boss, bought his bowling trophies. Like, he's not that good of a bowler. He bought them, in Hackensack somewhere. So I don't think they're where his body is in Wakanda.
Good point. Good point.
Right.
So I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Go for it.
What do you think the likelihood after the end of this series that Vision in some way will be back?
I'd like to see it. I like him.
Yeah, I think they could bring Vision back in some way, because at the end of the day, he is just this synthezoid, right? Like, he is just They could do something. I mean, because Vision at one point, right, is an old version of Ultron mixed with the brain patterns of Wonder Man in the comics.
In the movies, Jarvis.
Comics, right? But in
Wonder Man?
Wonder Man's a comic man.
Yeah, he's a comic book character. But if that's the case, they could basically do that with whoever they want, right? Of just like, we're gonna put someone else's brain patterns in there to bring them back. It can be whoever actor. It can still be Paul Bettany. Maybe Paul Bettany is now putting on his best Robert Downey Jr. Right? Like, it. I think they could bring him back. If not, I would imagine seeing someone like what's their daughter's name? Viv.
Yeah,
Vivian,
bringing
I think
Viv in. That might be a little soon for Vision's family to make a cinematic appearance. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see, hypothetically, if at the end of this they figure out that it's all Scarlet Witch's power has gone haywire, because that's a very Scarlet Witch thing to happen.
Right, yeah.
And while she's been reanimating Vision with Vision's body with how she remembers him and how she sees him, somehow that imprints back onto him, and the
power
body
of love.
the body records that and is like, okay, this is the standard Vision, and from now on this will be Vision.
Aww.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's my theory.
I can absolutely see something like that. I can also see that happening with the twins. Like, I think those will end up being real characters because one of them is Wiccan from the Young Avengers. They've kind of been setting up a number of younger characters. So,
you know what bugged me about episode 3 is that she's pregnant, and then Vision's talking to her belly, and he's like, I can't wait to meet you, Billy. She's like, Billy? I want a nice, strong, all-American name for the boy, like Tommy. And I'm like, Tommy and Billy are the exact same genre of name.
all-American. Yeah.
All-American.
You've made
Billy
a
is a communist
move.
name.
A lateral move. I don't understand why that's her argument for why she won't accept Billy. It has to be Tommy.
I mean, yeah,
so different. Wildly
maybe
different.
Billy is
They're
a
both names
more
of Power
Sokovian
Rangers.
communist name, like you had said, Jams.
Yeah.
In communist Sokovia, we listen to Billy Marx.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tommy, remember Rugrats Tommy? He grows up, he's Captain America. Look at him now.
Yeah, there you go. But so here's another thing I thought about. It could be that. So I think somehow in that bubble that they're in, there's like, it's not like that force field thing that they have there. I don't think that's just a normal force field per se, and I don't know that could be her powers. That could be something S.H.I.E.L.D. has set up. It could also be, I heard someone mention, what if somehow this has to do with the quantum realm? Because that's how the helicopter got so small. On top of
There's
that,
a tiny man inside?
well,
tiny
Monica
man.
Rambeau somehow got in there. She's a
And
pilot.
she's smaller. Oh my god!
So
oh my god! She
maybe
flew
somehow-
the helicopter. She flew the helicopter.
Maybe she was the pilot and had one of those things to make her larger,
Then-
but something affected her to like wipe her memory or stuff like that, which is why she thinks I forget what her name is when she's in there.
That was an act. It really seems like she's been conscious of what she's doing the whole time. She's like, can't say she's Monica for whatever reason. She's like, oh, I'm Geraldine. Geraldine from around town, and I work here, and we're friends.
Because what I saw in the previews, it looked like, and this is the thing that we don't know if Marvel is faking us out or not, but from one of the previews, I thought I remember her being like, I don't know who I am, and stuff like that, but I could be wrong.
Maybe.
I remember her being confused.
But I think I
Could be a
remember
cut
her
line.
wearing this 70s outfit while she says that. So I wonder if that scene was cut. Because I don't think they're
Yeah.
going
Maybe.
back to this look now that this episode is over.
Yeah,
It could be.
but
We also could reach the point where the timeline goes back in
Right.
time.
We're going to be
or,
every decade
yeah,
at once.
Like a 70s version of one of the characters is there, and it's like, you don't fit. Like, why are you in this weird outfit?
We're in full
you know?
pop century.
But speaking of the quantum realm, we also know that Jimmy Woo is in the show, or will be making
This is
an
true.
appearance.
Woo is true.
We also know that Darcy is making an appearance in the show, both of which
That's
are
true.
characters that dealt with Marvel heroes that came and went back and forth to different realms. So I'm like Thor going to Asgard and stuff like that, and then Ant-Man going into the quantum realm there. So I'm wondering if there's some her powers are so funky that like the quantum realm thing is happening, something's over here. I don't know. I think they're all at play, and I have a feeling one of the characters is a Skrull.
Ooh, yeah,
Ooh.
we got to start Scroll Watch.
Do you think
Yeah, 'cause
Darcy
we know
is
there's
the?
a secret invasion show coming down the road.
That's true. Do you think Darcy is the beekeeper?
I don't think so, because it looked like a guy in that.
Yeah, and I watched a video
looked like an
about this,
older
and they're
man.
like, if you like turn up the brightness all the way, this is just like the Marvel stunt coordinator. Like, it doesn't seem like whoever that is, like
supposed to be
whoever
a mystery.
Yeah, whoever the specific person is inside that bee suit, in that beekeeper suit, not bee suit. He's not
That
dressed
cartoon
like
bee
a
suit.
bee.
Feel the sting of the bee.
Whoever that individual is in that moment doesn't seem to be very important. It's just the concept of whatever
Yeah,
that means.
something is wrong. They weren't
Yes.
supposed to see them and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think this is Sword doing it to her, because they wouldn't, if that was the case, they wouldn't have to sneak in Monica
Yeah.
or sneak in the helicopter or the beekeeper and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
We'll see.
Queen Bee over there.
Oh, I just had a thought. What
Huh.
if the helicopter was already there with Monica in it, and then the force field went up, and that's why they're there,
no!
and she just got caught in it, and that's why she doesn't know what's going on.
She's like, well, I guess I live here.
Potentially,
Say
yeah.
goodbye to my mom. I'm stuck in 1964.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we don't know if Agatha or Agnes is her name in the show. We don't know if she's actually real or is a villain or a figment of her imagination.
Yeah.
Stuff we don't
I'm
know.
excited.
Because if she is imagining dead people, right? If she's being like, oh, Vision's back, the whole gang's back. Like, what if Agatha Harkness was her, like, babysitter when she was younger?
Oh,
And this is just this, like, friendly figure that she wants around.
Interesting.
Yeah, like maybe some of these people are people she's seen before on a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
maybe she's
that.
not just populating her world with like sitcom tropes. It's like whoever plays Herb was a sitcom actor who she misses, and she's like, I'll put him in my dream world.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Interesting stuff, though.
Yeah, it's been a fun puzzle to watch unfold. And you know, as somebody who grew up on heavy amounts of Nick at Night, I appreciate
Yeah.
the aesthetic of the whole thing as well.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
And I do have to say one more thing about the beekeeper scene. Boy, did that remind me of Nightmare on Elm Street, the Twilight Zone thing. Oh man,
Yeah.
great stuff. I loved it. That was genuinely creepy. Of just like, what is going on here? So, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. All right. Well, Jams,
Yes. Hello.
thank you so much for joining us, man.
You survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's the question.
No, I can't.
Escape is called close Skype, walk out of room.
I couldn't do
Move
that.
houses. Yeah.
Yeah, move. Well, thank
Good
you guys so
stuff.
much for having me. I wanted to come on and talk about Saturday Morning Obscurities, and we
Yeah.
did that. And it's nice to theorize about WandaVision and all that. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank
I'd love to get you back on crossplay at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to make that happen down
Yeah.
the road
I'll
once you're all settled
Let
in.
you know. Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm all set up down at the new place. So
Sure thing. There you go. Well, a little bit of housekeeping before we get out of here. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. As well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. You just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. If you guys like what we do, patreon.com/the Whatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. At our $3 tier, You guys can get all kinds of exclusive content. Melissa mentioned your love for Polybius on an exclusive episode of Crossplay, which is up on our Patreon. So you guys can go check that out as well. We should be recording our next Patreon exclusive thing tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that in the near future as well. That's going to be a video game fantasy draft. Different from the ones we've done on the show before and stuff like that. And I think we did a Patreon exclusive fantasy movie draft thing as well. Different from those. This is something we're going to be keeping up with throughout the rest of the year and stuff like that. And we have a budget and we're going to be buying things and all sorts of stuff. It should be fun. Yeah, but then last but not least, big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, who stuck with us through all that Marvel talk, even though it is not her forte. So thank you, Sam, for supporting us nonetheless. We love you a lot. Mm-hmm. There you go. Jams, where can the people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
I would like to be. I would love to be found. If you want to find me on Twitter, I am at Jams Wilk. If you want to listen to Saturday Morning Obscurities, the best way to find links to the episodes if you don't have a podcatcher with it is the Twitter, which is at Saturday MO Pod.
There you go. And Melissa, where can they find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT. And to talk about another podcast that I'm on, besides the one we've already mentioned, friend of the show, Jack, has started up a new movie podcast called Your Friendly Neighborhood Filmcast. And I am on the first episode of that talking about Tenet.
Good stuff.
Yes.
You guys can find me at Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of our shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. You guys know the drill. If you guys like our shows, please rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you guys get your podcasts. It really helps us out, especially as small creators, to help spread the word, which would be wonderful. I guess that's about it, though. That wraps us up for number 127 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.